Welcome to coverage of GP Atlanta. Maria Bartholdi here in the booth alongside Marshall Sutcliffe. We've got Carlos Ramao versus Riley Port. Both currently 1-0 here in round two. Riley starts things off with a forest, pass the turn over to Carlos, who plays a swamp. Riley's two-drop. Glintness Crane gets to look at the top 4 cards of his library. If there's an artifact, he may put in his hand. And there is Woodworker's Puzzle Knot.
Interesting start here for Riley. Both of these players are 1-0.
So Carlos, former world champion back in 2002.
Yeah.
8 GP top 8s with 4 wins.
Oh, yeah. He's a real deal.
Scrap Heap Scrounger from Carlos, 3-2, can't block. And Riley plays a Long Tusk Cub and gets in there with the Glintness Crane. Yeah, the Scrounger versus the Cub doesn't look too great for Carlos.
No. He's forced to try to race it as it can't block anyway, but the Cub gets out of hand so quickly.
Yeah. A turn 2 Cub is something that is a little scary to be on the opposite side of.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get in there for 3.
How good of a blocker do you have, Carlos? Yeah, not bad.
Lawless Broker.
Yeah, that'll work.
It's a 2-3, and when it dies, it gives somebody a +1/+1 counter.
It's a 3-2.
Oh, 3-2.
Yeah. Which is actually pretty important here, because if Riley has a way to make energy pre-combat, to make 2 energy, he could put a counter on the Cub. But now Carlos actually has a block that still trades.
Right.
Where oftentimes you'll see, the play will be a 2-powered creature of some sort. And in that case, they'll go energy card, put a counter on the Cub, attack you, no blocks, get another energy, and all of a sudden the Cub's just rolling.
Right.
Like that.
Yep.
He didn't need to here because of the 3 power. That was huge, right? If that was a 2-2 or a 2-3, he would have played the Thriving Rhino first, attacked with the Cub,
You're
and
right.
then Carlos has no blocks.
Thriving Rhino from Riley. Smashes in again with the Scrounger.
It's got a +1/+1 counter on it from that Lawless Broker.
Thriving Rhino, another one of, I think, just the staple cards in any green deck
Totally.
in this format.
Yeah, Pima Outrider, Thriving Rhino, fantastic cards. The Riparian Tiger as well. You can go 3, 4, 5 with those, and it's just like Beef City, right? It's like you're at the butcher shop, man. You got so much power and toughness out of those.
Vegetarians beware.
Indeed. Curious to see how Carlos is going to navigate this. He's, with the Scrounger, he's forced to race. He just has to keep bashing. But Riley looks like he's got some pretty nice options for piling on a bunch of damage, though. He did end up trading off that Cub. Wow, and there's a Freighter.
Renegade Freighter. Yeah, the Scrappy Scrounger card that's probably best in red-black artifact aggressive deck, so I'm kind of interested to see how it plays out here in black-green. Riley playing a Sky Skiff, 2/3 flyer with crew cost of 1. I like the Skiff. He's going to pay an energy to put a counter on the Rhino.
Yeah, he's going to pay the 2 energy that he had left over from the Rhino itself.
Passes back. Looks like he misses land drop there.
You can see he's got another Puzzle Knot in his hand.
Thriving Rhino of his own for
Okay.
Carlos. Yeah, the Puzzle Knot can get him some life back later in the game.
Yeah, it's so slow.
But it's
though.
very slow.
He is getting ran over here pretty cleanly.
All right, the Rhino crews the train. Smash.
Wow, I think Carlos may just run away with this one. I mean,
Yeah,
like
that freighter is
just
certainly
hit,
a
he
renegade.
just hit for 9 damage.
Yep.
Riley's hit 4 now. I mean, sure, he can gain a little bit of life back with a Puzzle Knot or 2, but that's just way too slow. Well, he did find that fourth land.
And he can draw a card if he so chooses,
Indeed.
but he's just going to
I think
gain some life.
he's gonna double puzzle knot here, it looks like. And then
Gain 6.
leave his blockers back.
He's going to get a lot of energy, too, notably. So if he ever manages to kind of dig himself out a bit of this hole a little bit, he can make that Thriving Rhino huge.
Yeah. Yep, he can. Yeah, Carlos has really disincentivized him from doing so. Oh, it looks like Riley wants to race
All
here
right.
as well.
He's getting in there. Sky Skiff crewed by the Glint Nest Crane, the Thriving Rhino. Pass the turn back. Carlos, another Rhino. 4 energy. Crews the train.
It's going to be game.
Smashes in. Yep, that's it. Riley scoops him up. Game 1 goes to Carlos.
It was a super risky play by Riley to make that attack. He was trying to set up a two-turn kill against Carlos Romao, but if Carlos had any way to crew his Renegade Freighter in his hand or off the top of his library, that's any creature with power 2 or greater, he could assemble lethal there, and as turned out, he did.
Yeah, that's something you have to keep in mind in this format. Obviously, with vehicles running around, is if you have a creature and a vehicle on the battlefield, even if you don't have any, the next turn you play one, you can crew it and smash. All right, we're going to take a look in here. Josh Newell
and Daniel Cicchetti.
Daniel also playing Glint Nest Crane. No sleeves.
Daniel's a Madison area player. He also is a GP champ. He also played on the World Magic Cup for the United States team a few years ago. For those of you that remember that.
Josh looks to be on green-black. Counters matter strategy. And there we see it again. Appetite for the Unnatural coming down. Taking care of the Iron League Steed from Josh. Malphus squad on the battlefield for Josh. 3-1 Fabricate 1 Menace. Pretty fun flavor text on that card. Something like nice invention looks fragile.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Foundry Screecher for Josh and a Sky Skiff. Foundry Screecher has +1/+0 because of the servo and the Sky Skiff. Well, Daniel's got a lot of mana and plenty of cards in hand.
Yeah, I believe he just drew another land. Yeah, he did. Both players opting for full art lands here.
Ooh, you've got a classy.
I mean, no sleeves, but...
Living dangerously. Classy and dangerous.
Indeed. The Daniel Cicchetti lifestyle.
I'd read that book.
Yeah. And he's going to go in the tank.
Yeah.
Daniel's from Madison. Absolute limited hotbed. They do all types of drafts down there once the new sets come out.
All right, it sounds like our first match is ready to go for game 2, so we're going to head back over there. Keep an eye on that other table, though, and let you know what happens. All right, so Riley, Servant of the Conduit in play. Carlos has an Emerald Brawler, 3-1. Playing a Chief of the Foundry and smashing the Servant of the Conduit for 2. Chief of the Foundry giving other artifacts +1/+1. Emerald Brawler, 3-1. It does have Menace if you control an artifact. Servant of the Conduit, just a solid little card. It's 2/2 for 2. You get 2 energy, pay an energy, tap it, add a mana of any color to your mana pool. Just everything you want in a 2-drop, really.
Indeed. Yeah, that Bruiser should jump up ahead of the lands there. We'll get that switched for you, too. There we go.
All right, attacks for 3.
Yeah, the Bruiser's just going to offer a trade here. You know, the Chief of the Foundry can be a real problem for Carlos going late into the game. And he would be fine just to trade off his 2-drop for that.
Everything coming in tap for Carlos.
Yeah, it's like a
Deadlock
ricochet
trap.
Deadlock trap there from Carlos.
So Deadlock Trap comes along with 2 energy.
Yeah.
Enters the battlefield tapped. You can pay an energy and tap it, and you are able to tap target creature or planeswalker, which is interesting. Its activated abilities can't be activated this turn.
Yeah, that's whatever it gets tapped down gets kind of frozen up
Right.
as well for the turn. So kind of interesting. It's a pseudo removal spell here for Carlos.
Oof, Hunt the Weak,
Ooh.
giving a counter to Chief of the Foundry, taking down the Umbral Brawler. Hitting
Wow,
for 5.
that is savage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is going to be a major issue here for Carlos.
Deadlock Trap is an interesting card. Kind of one I'm not 100% sure of in this format yet. Oh, Gonti, Lord of Luxury for Carlos.
I love this guy.
That's a card. Gets to look at the top 4 cards of Riley's library and choose one to exile. Then at any time he may play it and spend mana as if it were mana of any color to cast it.
He steals one of your
He just
opponent's
takes
cards.
it.
It's
Just
great.
takes it.
Yeah.
No big deal. Gonti, I mean, he likes the finer things in life,
He does.
obviously. He also has Death Touch. Notably, I shouldn't say he since an Aetherborn. Normally, also notably, even if Gonti dies, you can still play that card.
That's
that was
right.
exiled.
That's right. Uh-oh, here's a big play from Riley.
Another multiform wonder.
All right. Well, we've seen a couple of those. And frankly, I think we'll see every single multi-form wonder opened in the entire room will make it into the deck. You know, this is something that we see pop up. When you have a really great card that's colorless, it'll be in every deck. You know? All the Sky Sovereigns, we'll see a bunch of those.
Oh, Sky Sovereign.
Yeah. Everyone open is going to be in somebody's deck, I would predict. So
That card is just dumb, Marshall. I played with it last night in a draft.
you had it in your deck?
I did.
God, I got to draft with you. You get all Cloud Blazers and Sky Sovereigns, and I'm playing like rhinos and hyenas.
Yeah, it deals 3 when it enters the battlefield. I mean, that just feels... I feel bad. Also good, but also bad. There, you can see it on your screen for a second. 6/5. It attacks, it deals 3 as well. Crew of 3. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that card's
That's a card...
kind of dumb. It's like so powerful.
But, I mean, just the fact that vehicles happen in this set makes me very happy.
Oh, you're a vehicle fan?
I'm a huge vehicle fan, Marshall. A lot of people are on the energy train, which I think is also fine because energy is awesome. But I just love the fact that vehicles finally happened and R&D figured out a way to make them really neat, really playable, and make kind of for a complex format.
This format has definitely proven complex so far, both on the big picture and even on an individual card basis. You know, even cards like Fabricate often challenge you to make a decision about, well, do I want this +1/+1 counter or this servo? And that can be a game-changing decision in some scenarios. And I love formats like that. So far, this has been pretty fun.
Carlos taps 5 for Riparian Tiger, gets 2 more energy.
All right.
Yeah, he has a solid little wall going on there.
He does.
Riparian Tiger, another sort of staple common for the green deck. So you can see it's a 4/4, and you can pay 2 energy to give it +2/+2 until end of turn as trample as well.
Yeah,
So
that's only when it attacks, though.
yes.
And you can only do it once. So it can't be a 6/6 on blocks, and you can't just dump, 20 energy into it to make it a,
Right.
whatever. You do. So it's a little tricky to use. But basically, it attacks, if you wanted to, as a 6/6 with trample for 5 mana at common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Common.
That's the real deal.
All right, we have an Oval Chase Dragster from Riley. Trample Haste 6/1. The Rhino's going to crew it.
Wow, this is a heck of a turn here for Riley.
Yeah.
He spent 7 mana and really added to his board nicely. He's just daring Carlos to start using up energy counters to keep the Dragster or other threats locked down.
Yeah, there goes the Deadlock Trap, locking down the Dragster. Crew cost of 1. Ooh. That's a card to be afraid of coming out of your opponent's hand out of nowhere.
You can see the chief of the foundry also doing work here, as we see Riley has 2 other artifact creatures, the Multiform Wonder, and then when it's active, the Dragster.
Carlos at 9.
Yeah, Carlos is pretty far behind here. He was able to put a race together in game 1, but it's difficult to do here.
How do you feel about Deadlock Trap, Marshall?
I've only had a chance to play it once so far. I was reasonably impressed. I think that if you have a deck that's capable of making energy, you probably do want it in your deck. That said, I haven't been blown away.
Okay. I was wondering, I played it the other day in a draft, and I think it shines obviously a little bit more in sealed, but I just wondered if I would always have energy, if it'd be worth it to spend on it. I suppose it's only costs 1 to tap something down, and if you're reliably getting enough energy, then it's worth it.
That's the key. If you get to tap down something twice and then you never put any energy into it again, it's not worth it. It's borderline, but it's still not worth it, because one of the other downsides is that it enters a battlefield tap. You don't even get to use it right away.
Nature's Way from Carlos here.
Looks like the Tiger's going to claw at the Multiform Wonder here. Oh, actually, you know what? I think he did the Gonti.
It was Gonti.
Yeah.
Yep. Gives Vigilance and Trample till end of turn to Gonti as well. And deals damage equal to Gonti's power to target creature.
Right, and since he has Death Touch, that means that it's going to die no matter what.
Yep. Making use of the Vigilance here to get in with Gonti as well as the Tiger.
Yeah, I like this attack here from Carlos. He doesn't mind trading Gonti for the Chief.
Oop, he's going to cast Riley's card. There comes Pima Outrider.
Oh, there it is. The crazy part is he could actually just cast it.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't need to.
Well, it's funny because, he could, but it doesn't always line up perfectly, right? In this case, it happened to be fine, but
that's funny.
It's pretty nice.
Chooses to make a servo off of Pima Outrider's Fabricate trigger. 3/3 Trample. Not too shabby. So in Riley's spot, he does have the Oval Chase Dragster and a Thriving Rhino, and now Kujar Seed Sculptor coming into play, going to give a +1/+1 counter to someone. But the wall that Carlos has put up is pretty significant, as well as that Deadlock Trap just sitting there. Decides to put the counter on the Rhino. Seed Sculptor is going to crew the Dragster.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
It's really forcing Carlos to keep tapping that thing down, because it's just 7 damage from the Dragster, so much.
Yeah. 7 Trample. Yikes. Passes the turn back. Kujar Seed Sculptor is a fine little card too, I found.
Worst case scenario being a 2/3 for 2 mana is an excellent card.
Yeah.
And then you can see spots like this later on where he's using it to crew an Oval Chase Dragster and put the counter somewhere else.
It's value.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good 2-drop.
Playing in draft last night, my opponent cast Kujar Seed Sculptor and put the counter on itself on turn 2, and I was like, well, I can't attack into that for at least a little while.
Yeah.
Repairing Tiger entering the red zone, along with Pima Outrider for Carlos.
2/4/4 Tramplers. Curious to see if Carlos spends the energy here for the Tiger. If he doesn't, that means he's saving it for the trap. If he does, it means he probably has another.
The Rhino lining up to block the Pima Outrider. We have a Subtle Strike from Carlos. This card has impressed me. Give a +1/+1 counter and give something -1/-1 until end of turn.
Yeah, it's been really good. It's not so subtle when you play it like this.
No.
It's just a smashing. Yeah, Carlos is just pulling ahead further and further here every turn.
Ooh, Aetherbone Marauder.
Yeah, he's going to steal that +1/+1 counter. He can take those counters from any of his creatures, the +1/+1 counters, and put them on the Aetherborn Marauder.
So that Aetherborn Marauder is now 3/3 with lifelink flying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really great little card. Nice turn there from Carlos Ramao. He set that up nicely, taking down an opposing creature and also getting a counter on one of his, so that when he plays his Aetherborn Marauder, it can now be. And there is a huge difference, by the way, in this game between 2/2 flying lifelink and 3/3 flying lifelink. You can see that Riley has fallen now down to 6 life, so that's a 2-turn clock in the air with no other attacks needed. Now, as it turns out, Carlos has plenty going on and will probably be able to finish the game next turn. But if he can't, the Marauder does a really nice job of closing it out in the air.
So the Dragster's been crewed once again by the Seed Sculptor.
Yeah, I think that Carlos is just going to take it this time. He's taking on a little bit of risk here. Blossoming Defenses would kill him.
It would. All right, pass back to Carlos.
But he does. Yeah, he just took it. Falls down to 2.
He's at 2.
And he should be able to go for the win here. He
swings out. Smash.
Best Riley can do is crew up for 1 blocker.
Yep, that's game. Carlos takes it. 2-0.
So yeah, interesting stuff down there. Anything popping out? You know, I could see we had a lot of vehicles.
Yes.
Already. I'm really curious to see what the right number of vehicles to play is. You know, that's something that I want to know. Coming in, I think it's maybe a little fewer than people are playing. Like, I don't know if you really want 3 vehicles in your deck.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Maybe you do. I don't know. We'll find out.
All right, we're going to check in here. Josh Newell. Currently with a lot of stuff happening on the board here against Daniel Cicchetti.
We can also see that he did win game 1, which was the one we were watching a little earlier on a live looking.
Night Market Lookout. Tapping to crew
the Pain Train.
The Pain Train.
Yeah, that's in conjunction with the servo, since it is 2. And wow.
Oh, there we go. That's game. Josh takes it. Yeah, Night Market Lookout, also a card that I'm I wonder about. Whenever it becomes tapped, it basically gains and drains. You gain a life, opponent loses a life. So good for crewing vehicles, but it's just a 1/1 on its face.
Yeah, you can stop wondering about it. It's pretty bad. I think, look, every card in Limited, basically every card in Limited has a use, right?